using the breath with intention, we have an effect. So it's not control, but we have clearly an effect on our own health system inside.
One of the things that I found over the last decade is that using our breath and breath work is so powerful and so impactful for our health. And we want to talk about a very particular breathwork practice, which we call Heart Coherence, which has a very direct impact on HRV, right? So we want to kind of put the pieces together here. So Julien, explain to us about the practice of Heart Coherence the best that you can. It's a pretty simple practice, which is promising. And then maybe we could practice it for a moment and then talk about how people can use this, on a consistent basis.
Yeah. If I may just do one small specification, Heart Coherence is actually the state where the heart beats at the same time as we breathe. So it's not exactly the practice, it's the state we are in. The practice that we use, and I was talking to you about, is called heart resonance. That we use really the breathing to help the heart to go as high as we can, as low as we can, just by controlling the breathing. It's very, very simple. You just have to do this very simple technique for 5 minutes, 3 times a day if you can. The more you do it, the better it is. But at least 5 minutes once a day, you're already going to have a result about it. You breathe in for 5 seconds and you breathe out for 5 seconds. It's that simple. Or okay, we can improve it a little bit by breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose or the mouth. But basically, breathing in through the nose, it has an effect on certain brain areas that calm down anxiety and the panic and fear. But basically, that's it. It's just breathing in normally without forcing it, and breathing out normally without forcing it for 5 minutes, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out.
Well, let me ask you a question. Okay, so the practice basically of heart resonance, which gets us to heart coherence, okay,
exactly.
Which is what our goal is, which improves health and all that, is breathing in 5 seconds, breathing out 5 seconds. Okay, like are we already doing that, or let's say I were to measure what I'm doing normally. When we get off the phone, I'm going to be working. Am I not doing 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out? Like, what am I doing? 1 second in, 1 second out? Like, what's the difference between what this practice is and what most people are normally doing?
It depends on when some people breathe faster, some people are breathing slower, but it also depends on what you do, because sometimes when you work out, of course, you're going to breathe faster than when you're sitting down. And just by controlling the breath, we have an indirect effect on controlling the heartbeat. And that's why when I was talking a bit before for the big difference between the maximum and minimum, if we have a small difference before doing this practice. After doing the practice, we can actually measure it. It's already bigger. So you can already have a better resiliency right after doing this practice. And you mentioned that there's many methods to get to that. Meditation is one, yoga is one, there's fundamentals, sentiments, and so on. What I love about heart resonance, it's 5 minutes, 3 times a day. It doesn't take a whole hour that you have to sit down. Sometimes for some people, it's difficult to sit down for one specific hour of meditation to get the same results. And with that specific technique, we can get actually the same results sometimes as meditation.
Right. Yeah. So it's very, very, very powerful. And, that's been one of the big revolutionary things for me in my own journey, is understanding that intentionally using the breath. And in this case, this is a very gentle way to do it, because there are other breath practices that can be really deep. They take hour long. You're like basically forcing yourself to hyperventilate, right? We know those practices, right? We've done those together. And, those practices really can get you into various states of consciousness. But this one, heart resonance, is very gentle. It's something that you can be using, just during your day. We're going to do it right now for a moment. And again, just to be clear, the breathing practice is breathing in for 5 seconds and then breathing out for 5 seconds. And you do this 3 times a day, 5 minutes each session, right? And exactly. We recommend, like when people do this, that, they make it a practice that, okay, for 5 minutes every day, I'm going to do for 15 minutes every day, but 3 different times, right? Or sorry, 3 times for 5 minutes each. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do this practice of heart resonance. Should they get out a timer? I mean, like, what's the best way to make sure to systematize, make sure people do it? Like, do you use a timer or do you just kind of wing it?
At the moment, not anymore. I don't need a timer anymore. I know exactly when I'm reaching, because the more we practice, the more we can actually feel the state when we are in coherence. Some people have also, I want to add something about that, because when we are in coherence, we can actually bring others around us to be in coherence as well. So we can have an effect more outside or only inside.
Okay.
But basically, usually I recommend many of the people I'm talking with and consulting me for osteopathy or anything else is to use an app, because counting can be very boring to do. So there's so many apps.
Timer apps. On your phone. On your phone, you can just do it really easily. As well.
Write down on whatever the app store you're using on whatever. You're gonna find an app for that. Yeah, there's an app for everything.
There's an app for everything.
There's many for that.
Okay.
So let's get free ones, and you have the same results as the one you're going to pay for.
Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. So this is a practice. Okay. What I want to do is just for 1 minute, I want you to time us doing it. And for your listening, I want you to do this right now. We're not going to do it for 5 minutes. I want to do it for 1 minute. Okay. So that way we can get into the practice. And if you're watching me, if you can see me on video, that's fine. You can see what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to breathe for 1 minute. Julian's going to count it for us. And then we're going to switch gears and go into EFTs, which are a little bit different. Okay. So can we do that, Julien? Can we go ahead and just do this little experiment right now?
Okay. Excellent.
Tell me when.
Whenever you're ready. You ready?
Ready.
You're going to take, just at the beginning, you take a good big breath in and a big breath out. And out. We're breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's already 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what's really cool about that? It's like there's obviously a structure there where I'm having to be conscious of controlling my breath for 5 in and 5 out. It isn't fully natural, but it also isn't hard to do. Which is what I love about this. It's like, oh my God, like I can get myself into coherence, help my health in a tremendous way by doing that for 5 minutes a day, 3 times a day. And it has all these benefits. You just help someone clear up depression, and she's writing a 1 minute show just from doing this for a couple of weeks. Like, how mind blowing, right? Like, how mind blowing that level of simplicity and just a little bit of discipline, a little bit of focus to be able to control your breath that way is physically helping you to get better.
And you use one word that I like. You're using the word intention. And with intention, we can control the breath and we can actually have an effect, indirect effects, but with intention on our own system that we cannot control. Because we don't have to think about, okay, I have to make my heart pump, I have to breathe, if we have to think about all of this, we wouldn't be able to do anything. But since all of this is automatic, and we cannot control usually, but using the breath with intention, we have an effect. So it's not control, but we have clearly an effect on our own health system inside.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so good. So guys, everyone that's listening, practice this. Try it for a week. Try it for 2 weeks. Seriously, like this is mind-blowing stuff, easy to do, has huge benefits scientifically. Okay, why not?